have a talk with Reiki. Can you
Mm-hmm.
say something, Rosie? Speechless. She's speechless as always, Reiki. I don't really know what to do. What sort of food should I give her? You introduce yourself first,
I think
Rosie.
they know about. They know me already.
Not really, but you need to also introduce yourself. It's me,
Oh
Rosie
no!
here.
Remember, I introduced myself. You bully me.
No, but just don't mention your age. You're like running like a Miss Universe. I was bullying her because she said, "Hi, I'm Rosie, 22 years old."
And you want world peace? Well, for those who are new to your channel, and again, this is your channel. What's the name of your channel, so you can share that with everybody?
It's the name of our channel is more likely we came up with the name The Adventure of Finding Us
All
because
right.
as you know we're both lost. We're lost. We don't know who we are, so we're trying to find ourselves
Ah,
together with you guys.
all
Hopefully,
right. Well,
finding ourselves.
that's a good concept. And
Yeah,
well, I guess what I can pitch in is for those wondering. Well, Lori and I, we met like 5 years ago when you were running your coffee shop there in Dumaguete, and because I happened to wander into the Ever Mall, and there you guys were, you and your sister, and so
yes.
that's how for those who want the background, that's how we first met. And then I did a video on my channel about the coffee shop, and then we just we knew some of the same people like Daryl and his wife and the kids. So, Dumaguete is a small place, so we ended up just knowing a lot of the same people.
Everybody almost knows everybody there, Reiki now.
Yeah, which explains why you're now out in Malboal.
I wanna start a new life. I wanna see what tomorrow brings me.
Yeah. Well, so what kind of questions did you have for me?
um, it's more likely we wanted to ask you how it feels to be out in Philippines, to be not here during COVID, how it feels.
Well, I'm. It's one of those situations where I'm torn because, as people know that watch my channel, but maybe those who have not seen it yet, I have a girlfriend V, who's in right now in Davao, and we've been together for a year and a half. And then I got news earlier in the year that my mom, her health was having some issues, which now she's doing great. So I had to make the difficult decision. I wanted to stay with my girlfriend there in Cebu, where we were at the time, but I also, my mom's 87. I didn't want to put that off and have something bad happen, and I'm not here. So I had to make the decision to come here to United States, knowing I couldn't get back into Philippines till they reopen. So fortunately, my girlfriend, very understanding, she said, "Yeah, go to your mom in California, and for the rest of the year is what we agreed on." Which, again, I don't know that the borders be open later, but so as far as being here in California, I'm very torn because I can't be in Philippines and California at the same time. My mom and my girlfriend are the two most important women in my life, so it's like it's hard. But as far as the COVID, requirements and stuff, it's much more relaxed than it is in Philippines right now. Here, I would say 90% of the places they want you to wear a mask. But again, you don't have to wear it when you eat. But if, like you're just walking around in our rural area, you don't really have to wear it. They did reopen the movie theaters, which I was very happy about. So I took my mom to the movies. But overall, it's not as strict here in California as it is, say, in Manila or Davao. Yeah.
So it's better there. Here in Malboal, it's also not very strict, Ricky. It's very nice here.
Ah, good, good, good.
Yeah, we have freedom once in a while. I think we mentioned that in one of our videos, right?
Yes.
That
Mhm.
we just because we're near to the sea. As you've been here already, right? And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, I've
very
been.
fresh. We just walk without masks. But if there's a police, we respect them.
Uh,
We both some, but sometimes if there's really nobody, just both of us,
uh,
we always walk without a mask because it's better. You breathe more, and
oh
it's
yeah.
just mm,
Oh, now have the two of you gone over to the, what do they call it, the White Sands Beach?
Not yet.
No.
uh, we've been there
Before.
before a few
Okay.
times, but it's not really our favorite spot. Our favorite spot it's more in our heading place that we called it our own place, but it's not
Ah.
really. We don't think on that. We tell everyone that it's our hidden spot, but you, you know
Yeah.
us. We just claim it's ours, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, if you put it on Google Maps, then everybody will be there. So don't put it on Google.
No, we want. So in case they want to come here, will be the private tour guide.
Guide.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That works out good. That works out good. Yeah. Now is the chili bar still there? The chili bar?
Yeah, it's pretty open, but it's as I think you got to have the idea that it's really not the same as before. It's very quiet. Monday to Friday, it's really quiet. Just the last time
Uh,
yesterday, we've been there yesterday. It's just me and her.
oh
Uh,
wow, wow.
Kilo.
Mm. And then Saturday and Sunday, I think they have like maybe 5 or 6 people. And you imagine that that's the famous bar here in Dumaguete,
Right
right?
in
So that
Moal.
it's
Oh
super
yeah,
famous. Actually in Moalboal, not Dumaguete, sorry, Moalboal.
yeah. Now, how about foreigners? Because when I was there, guy, I'd go out by Chili Bar anywhere near that area, and it was like 80% foreigners. How does it? How many for like I don't know, just your own guess. Like 10%, 50%, 80%. How much do you think people you see every day are foreigners when you walk around Moal Boal?
Let's say before it was 100%. Let's say before was 100%, right?
Hmm?
So now I think it's already my calculation would be 40%, no?
Yeah.
So I think they lose 60%. There's
Oh,
still a
okay.
lot. 40 is not so bad.
Mm.
That's my kind of calculation.
Okay. Now here's the real important question. Out of that
Yes.
40, out of that 40%, how many are single for you guys?
Oh my God, Ricky, I've been looking. How many? My God, I cannot find one yet. So to those who know, maybe you guys knows where's the single man out there. There's two single ladies around here looking for the single man there.
Yeah. Yeah, you might have to import from Dumenhag or somewhere.
Do you think there's gonna be a foreigners around Dumanhog? Oh,
No.
uh,
foreigners,
may-
some
maybe
guys
one.
there.
Maybe one.
What? No one there.
Yeah,
Can you
maybe.
send him here?
Yeah, and he's probably there just stopping to get gas.
My God, it's really it's in a way at least in a way, Reiki, at least it's still better here compared to other places. Not It's not
Yeah,
really that bad. It's just
yeah,
a lot of it been collapsing, as you know,
yeah.
collapse now.
Lot.
Well, the one thing I liked I was there only like 6 weeks, but what I liked is it's very even this was like 5 years ago. It was very relaxing. Again, it's a small town. It's very small. It's like 3, 4 blocks. Well, now they have the mall. They built the mall after I left. But yeah, it's a small place to relax and just kind of chill out. It's not as busy as like Cebu or anything like that. You know.
It's really nice because at least before I think you only if you've been here, how many years ago before you've been here?
It was like probably 6 years ago. I think it was right before I arrived at Dumaguete. So maybe 6 years ago. In
Yeah,
fact, I think
your
I
house.
went, I rode my bike from Bohol over the ferry to Cebu for a couple days, and then I rode my bike all the way to Argao because I got lost. Then I had to go back to Car, cross over, and then I arrived in Moal Boal. Yeah, about 6 weeks before I moved to Dumaguete. So that was about 6 years ago. Yeah, about there.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of changes, right?
Yeah.
So many changes
Mm,
now. Because as I mentioned, there's already two malls and
mm,
a lot of establishment, new establishment, but now closed. So there's they just newly built this, and then it's not really working because of no tourists at all. So
right.
it I don't really know what to say in a way. I think you got to have the idea that it makes me speechless, Ricky. I'm sad.
Yeah.
And sometimes because here there's a lot of tourists, right? So there's a lot of people like tricycle driver that
Mhm.
that's what they do for a living. So
Yeah.
they are really out of job now. No more job, Rosie, right?
Yeah. Just on
Yeah.
calls.
Hmm. Can you
Mm.
tell Ricky what do you think of Mual Bual?
I liked
Just
it. I liked it. I mean, I left because somebody decided to break into my apartment and they had the key to my motorbike. So I had to leave because there's nowhere to park my bike without them finding it in town. So, but if that hadn't happened, I like Moal Boal. I went out to the waterfalls there at Kawasan. I really love
yeah,
that. That's probably one of the nicest waterfalls that I've seen. I'm sure there's many others, but I just really like the beach. Also, before you get to Kawasan, I did some walking out there. It's kind of like a nice little town to just sort of hide away at and enjoy and relax. Like I said, it's not that big. I mean, life is very simple. There's like one mercado. There's the White Sands Beach. There's that one place that has the halo halo. And if you're into, well, I'm not really. I do snorkeling once in a while, but for those who are scuba divers, you got to go there. Everybody that's a scuba diver tells me it's a pretty interesting place. And they've got the scuba shops there too. So it's a nice little place. But it's not for people who want a big movie theater and a big mall. Well, they got the little malls there, but so it's more for like people that enjoy smaller towns. Yeah.
yes, just
Yeah.
like us. Small but you have everything that you're looking for, like the malls. We're talking about that.
Yeah.
We have hospitals. We're also near, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
not really like you. If only for minor problems, the hospitals here. So if you really have this a little bit serious problem, you really need to go to Cebu City. But it's not far, right? It's
Mm,
still 3 hours trip, so it's not so bad.
yeah. 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 Just don't bleed a lot. Yeah.
Don't a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, any questions you have? Any other questions you have for me?
Oh, Rosie, do you prepare some questions? Because when you asked Ricky, I was remember when you told me about when I told you, oh Ricky, early bird catch the worm, and you told me, the second mouse will get the cheese, and I really laugh. I was like thinking, yeah, I, so I
Yeah.
don't know what to believe now. See, you can ask Ricky about so many things, things that you wanna know.
Well, I can tell you that I'll give you just sort of my own little perspective on doing LDR, because everybody who's watched my channel knows I'm not a real big fan of LDR. I don't like it. I mean, who does? I mean, but there's two types of LDRs. There's the LDR where you're in it, but you've never met the person ever in
Yeah,
person. You met them on the dating site or whatever. Um, and then there's the LDR where you actually have, like in with V and I, we spent a whole year next to each other for a whole year, 24 hours a day because of COVID, and we got to learn about each other, learn to trust each other and know each other's background and our personalities, our habits, what we like, don't like. So being in an LDR so far, which has been like 3 weeks, um, it hasn't been that hard, because V and I, we talk like every 2 hours unless she's asleep or I'm asleep. But the times that we're awake, we talk like every 2 hours, and we're always sending like I'll shoot little videos, like 2-minute videos, just walking around the property, or when I wake up, so that I tell her good morning when she wakes up. So we're constantly communicating, but we already have a history together. And so
Mm.
for us, yeah, we miss each other, but it hasn't been as hard as it's been for other people who maybe there's kids involved, and when you're separated, not only do you miss your wife, but the kids. That's harder, I think. And getting back to those who have never met, I'll say what I've always said is you can communicate a lot of feelings, but really you shouldn't think of your relationship as starting until you can spend time together physically, you know, because that's when you see how they act when they're bored, when they're tired, when they're sick, when they're whatever, that's when you really, really get to know the person. So as far as the whole LDR thing, that's how it's kind of shaken out. I'm not a big fan. I don't think anybody's a fan of LDR, but there's OFWs that husband and wife, the husband goes to sea for 3 years, or she goes to China for 3 years. They make it work because they already have a foundation. They already know each other. So.
Yeah, it's more. I think that's very accurate. That's very well said, Reiki. I think that's. I agree with with what you just mentioned. It
Mm.
really, the person when you really been there for, it's not just about happiness when you guys, when they're sick or
Yeah.
whatever, things,
Yeah.
the true color comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True
You
color.
live each other.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, because I've often said, some of the best dates, I know it sounds crazy, but I've done this for years, and it really helps. Some of the best first dates that you can have is like dinner and then walk the beach, or just walk around town, or find a little coffee shop to talk, for like 2, 3 hours. Just talk, actually look each other in the eye and have conversation, find out about each other. And then when you've done that for maybe a week or so, um, I know again it sounds crazy, but to me, one of the best dates you can have is just the guy calls up his, new Filipina he's met, and then invite her to go grocery shopping, or to go with him to sit in the waiting room for the dentist. Because if you're going to have a future together, you'll be able to have fun and enjoy each other's company, even with boring stuff like that. You know,
that's very true.
like when V and I think it was our first 2 weeks that we started, living together way back in January of 2020. I lost my hearing in both ears. I had, these ear wax occlusions. I couldn't hear anything. I mean, it was like everything was 1,000 miles away. And I couldn't even cross the street without her holding my hand because I couldn't hear the traffic. I mean, I could look, but I couldn't hear what was behind me. So within the first week or so of her and I living together, this happened. And so we went to Davao Hospital because we were in Davao at the time. And we went, and we had to wait, it was like an hour and a half in the waiting room. And just having her support, being there, she wasn't sitting there with an attitude or bored. I mean, she was there to let me know, she was at my side and supporting, and she was going to wait, and we did little jokes and stuff, to pass the time. And see, that's the kind of thing that builds a relationship. Because when when a foreigner and a Filipina meet and they don't know each other, and then they just run off to a resort and just kind of do other activities, not looking at each other, but looking out at, they're just sort of busy. They're not really spending time getting to know each other, really. It's more like they're just each having fun together. It's easy to have fun with somebody at a resort, but to, like I said, to spend boring time together, just walking, having coffee, going grocery shopping, cooking together, that to me is where you learn about a person and build the relationship. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if
Right?
you really, so if you meet a guy and you really want to get to know him, don't waste your time running here and island hopping. Just ask him to walk the beach with you. Ask him to sit across a table with you with some coffee and talk. Just
No,
talk.
first
Get
thing
to
when
know
I
each
meet a guy, I always ask them, what do you think is the meaning of life?
other. That's a good opening question. Yeah, there you go.
And there I know what's the guys, how they how what's their views about life. I got to understand a little bit because I will ask them that question.
Yeah,
What's the meaning?
yeah.
What's
That's a
that?
good opening question. Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
Yeah, good questions are like also, I mean, that's a good one because then you get an idea of what their priorities are. But another question I've asked before is, if you were to look in what you see for your future, if everything was to go good and you succeeded in your goals, what do you see yourself doing in 2 years?
Mm.
Like what would you be doing? And some
Well,
people have never put any thought into it, so it's a good exercise for them to think and go, well, what are my goals? And you might find that their goals, if they say, well, in 2 years I want to have two more babies, well, that gives you a good piece of information. you know. So it's good, I think, to just find out what that person's priorities are.
That's very true. It's, at least you ask questions, at least also like us, we got to, like, for example, we're dating with someone. If
Hmm.
this guy asks us questions, then we ask back also. So
Yeah.
it's more like it's a good,
yeah.
good thing to start to see if
Mhm.
it's really a good match.
Yeah, and I'm sure you probably know this, but just having the conversation, being able to back and forth, exchange ideas, you talk a little, they talk a little, just doing that is information because I can tell you in my experience, I met this one Filipina and she was very nice person, very sweet, very beautiful, all that, but she never talked. I mean, hardly ever. Like, she'd nod her head a lot, or if I really, really like, asked her a question, she might say, yes or no. But I mean, we couldn't, I kept trying for weeks to just talk about anything. I would be like, tell me about your family, tell me about, what you'd like to do in life. Tell me about, hardship you've had, and she would just not really talk. So I had to end it because I knew, uh, for whatever reason, she's not a person that can communicate. Maybe she'll learn to communicate later in life, but at that point, there was nothing I could do to engage in conversation. And for me, that's very important. Some guys, they don't even want to have conversation. They want a girl that's just quiet all the time.
Yes.
But me, I need to know, what is a person thinking, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, all this stuff. So to me, that's very important.
Yeah. It's, I think, for you, Rosie, what do you think? Would you like a guy that want to know you more, or
Of course. That's what I want.
Hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
And
so of course.
yeah. And
I'm
sometimes
sorry.
it's the other way around. Sometimes, like I said, some guys just don't like to talk. They just,
Yeah.
they're kind of a wooden Indian. They're just sort of like, they just don't want to talk. I mean, that's not a priority for them. And it's all about compatibility. So that's why I've always said that dating is a process. It's a process of getting to know someone that you don't know. You start out as strangers, and by the time you do, after say 2 months, 3 months, get to know who they are, you have to decide, do I want to keep seeing this person? Or have I figured out they're just not for me? And if they're not for you, that's okay. You break it off and then you go look again. Not everybody's going to marry the first person they go on a date with. So it may take a couple years dating different people before you actually find the one that you're like, wow, I lost all interest in everybody else. I want to just be with this one. Um, so yeah, I think everybody really should
Ricky, I have a
yeah.
you just mentioned that I have a question now. So you really think that if a man find that perfect person, this man will perfectly just be with this person. He
Hmm.
will never look at other girls again. Is that what you mean?
No, no.
Because you're a man.
There's
Yes.
a man will constantly notice beautiful women if they're anywhere within 500 feet. He will. It's just how we're wired. I mean, if we're walking in the mall and there's a pretty girl anywhere within eyesight, we're going to notice her. Okay. But I'm talking about, it's who you want to be with the rest of your life. It's one thing to notice a pretty girl 300 feet away at the mall, but it's a whole other thing to then go chase after her and get her phone number. And see, a guy who is settled in who he wants to be with, his girlfriend, he's not going to do that. Yeah, he'll notice she's pretty, but that's it. He's still going to stay committed with his girlfriend because that's who he wants to be with the rest of his life if he's reached that point. But there's only the time that a man stops noticing pretty women is when they're lowering him in the ground. That's when it stops. Okay. Until that day, it's just normal. It's normal that a man will notice a pretty woman. And I think it's a lot of women kind of harm their relationship when they see their boyfriend, whatever, and some pretty girl walks right in front of them, and then they expect him to act like he didn't notice. Of course he noticed. I mean, she walked right in front of you. It's better to be honest, like my girlfriend and I, there's times where I'm just busy, we're walking through the mall and I'm just clueless, and she's the one who will see the pretty girl first, and she'll go, "Oh, she's pretty," or "Oh, she's beautiful," you know, and I'll look, I'll go, "Yeah, yeah, she's pretty, yeah," but that's it. Then we just move on and do what we're doing. And there's no need for jealousy. There's no need for any of that sort of childish nonsense. Because the fact that you've made this commitment and you every day, every day, every day, you're loving the person that you're with, that counts for a lot. And you're not out. Now, if a guy is out getting her phone number or looking for girls on dating sites or whatever, he's not in love. He's still looking, you know? I mean, not just looking like seeing, but he's like looking for the next person he's going to spend time with. So when he's ready to give 100% of his time and attention and love to one woman, then that's a beautiful thing. But if he's trying to sneak another one in for 20% of his time, he's not really in love.
Ricky, a
Yeah.
man like that nowadays is very hard to find, especially if you guys like if there's a lot of temptation, you know. If you
Mm-hmm.
if you go to a place like here in the Philippines or in Thailand or Asians, like they have these sayings, right? Like you bring a hamburger in the unlimited chicken or unlimited, there's a food that's unlimited and you bring something there.
Uh-huh.
It's more like I think this understand that you guys sometimes, of course, because girls here, as you know, even though you have a partner, you're with someone, the girls still, if they really want that guy, they'll do something to get that guy. They're more, you know that, they're
Yeah.
more aggressive in a way. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they
Yeah.
compete in
It's
a way.
it's both men and women are out there who are very aggressive. They'll
Yes,
they'll see a couple, and either the Filipino wants to take the other Filipina's boyfriend, or the foreigner wants to take the other foreigner's girlfriend. Yeah, that happens all the time. But
yes,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You use the correct word, temptation. Okay. I know, like in my relationship with V, I know that she's got her own channel, and I support her on that and everything. I know that there's, you know, who knows how many hundreds of foreigners that see her channel and say to themselves, wow, she's really sweet. She's really pretty. I want a girl like that. I'll go after, and they do. In fact, just 2 days ago, she sent me a screenshot from her messenger that this guy was bugging her, saying, I want you to be my girlfriend. I want to be your boyfriend. And he knows from my channel and hers, in fact, he blocked me before he did this. He knows that she's in a relationship, and he's, coming on to her and all this. Now, she sent me the screenshot and then blocked the guy. And I told her in the beginning of our relationship, I said, this applies to both of us. I said, there's a bunch of guys that will want to be with you, and there's a bunch of women that might be, again, temptation out there, but it doesn't matter if I'm not responding and she's not responding. To me, I don't worry about it, because it doesn't matter if 1,000 guys contact her begging to be her boyfriend. It doesn't matter as long as she's turning them away. And same thing for me. She doesn't feel insecure about the fact that I've got a channel, and Filipinas contact me in my comments and whatever. She doesn't worry about it, because, like I've told her, if I wanted to be with a different woman, I would be with a different woman. I want to be with her, you know? So what matters is not how aggressive the other people are. What matters is what we do about it. We
right.
keep the communication open. She tells me, hey, like with the screenshot, hey, this guy's, bugging me, and I took care of it. So what, it doesn't matter. And it goes the other way around too. If a woman wants to cheat, or if a man wants to cheat, he will find time and he will find a way. And you're better off just letting him go.
Yes,
I mean, I've had to tell women in the past, you want to be with that guy so much, pack your things, go. And she did, because I'm like, if you want to be with him that much to sneak around and talk to him online behind my back, go. I'll find somebody who doesn't do that to me. So it's what we have to take personal responsibility. If we're going to tell somebody we're in a relationship, then we're in a relationship, and that means everybody else is pretty much out of the equation.
so that's very, very, very nice to hear that from Ricky's views, point of view. It's about
well, yeah,
dating
well,
Filipinas.
it's what we want, all of us. Well, I would say most of us. We want something good in our life. We want a good person in our life. We want somebody to trust us, and we want somebody we can trust. And when you get two people together that want that same thing, it's beautiful. And it doesn't matter how many, like V, again, she doesn't worry that some pretty girl walks in front of me, or some pretty girl tries to contact me. She doesn't worry about it. I mean, other than basic human insecurity, which we all have, but she
Yes,
doesn't worry about it, again, because I move with my actions. She has all my attention, and if 10, 20 women try to contact me on Messenger, I just send them over to my singles group that I have on Facebook. I say, if you're looking for a, I've written this so many times, I finally copy pasted it. And when Filipinas contact me on Messenger, I send them to my Single Friends of Rike group on Facebook. I tell them, if you're looking for a foreigner, join my group. There's a bunch of them there. Maybe you'll find your forever. That's where I send them. I don't have time, and I don't need all that nonsense. I'm old enough and smart enough to know just because another girl's pretty is no reason to go leaving your girlfriend. There's always another pretty girl out there. That's no reason to be, if you're going to break up with your girlfriend, there should be a good reason, but not because just you notice that there's another pretty girl in the world. The world's full of pretty girls. So, anyways, that's how I handle it. I just send them to my Facebook group and I say, look, obviously you're looking for a boyfriend, go look over there. That's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah, that's very nice of you to be able to do that, Ricky. At least you're being honest.
Well, the other thing that you've probably heard me say on my channel and stuff is, okay, some people, they're not happy with just one woman in their life. And some women are not happy with just one man in their life. And my advice to them is go ahead. Go ahead. Date 3, 4, 5 guys in a week, but don't have a girlfriend, and don't do it when you're married. It's okay. Just go ahead. Just if a guy wants to be with 5 women a week, knock yourself out. But don't have a girlfriend who's trusting you, who you're going to end up breaking her heart. Don't do that. I have no problem with guys that I know plenty of guys that they date on a regular basis. They date this girl, 4 days later, they date that girl, and they tell them, hey, look, I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm just having fun this weekend. Do you want to have fun with me too? And as long as they both understand there's no promises, there's no nothing. If they just want to have fun for 2, 3 days, well, they're adults. They can go do that. So my thing is, if a man is the type of man that he can't commit to one woman at a time, well then don't commit to a woman. Just be single and mingle all you want. you know?
Stay single and keep mingling.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best way to do.
Yeah,
And
that
at least hurt anyone. You're being honest from the very
yeah,
beginning. You're being honest. Yeah, you make it clear. I don't want relationship. I just want to date girls. No relationship. At least, like we girls, we're not gonna think that there's something there. We're
right.
open. Yeah, it might not go deeper than I expected. As an example, if we
Yeah.
expect something, at least it's clear.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah, there's no real this is the thing is too many men think they need to lie and promise marriage and promise relationship. They think they need to lie in order for a woman to spend time with them. And what I have been for years trying to get across to guys is, you don't realize there's a lot of Filipinas out there. Maybe they just broke up from a big relationship or whatever their reasons are. Maybe they know they're never going to get married. They just want to have fun. I call them the party girls. There's a bunch of Filipinas out there that you tell them, hey, I'm going to
already.
Bohol for the weekend. You want to go with me? And you go, you have fun. That's it. There's a lot of women out there that they're not looking for a relationship. They just want Mr. Right now, not Mr. Right. So they're out there.
Right now.
Yeah.
I like the idea. We better find the Mr. Right now. Because the Mr. will not hurt us. The Mr. Unlike the Mr.
Right.
Right tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to say it. But I think Mr. Right now would be better. At least remember when I told you should read the book, The Power of Now. At least today's moment, our
Yeah.
tomorrow's memory is not that not
Yeah.
that painful.
Yeah. 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 Just don't
So
go making just don't go
right now.
making yeah, just don't go making babies with 20 different Mr. Right Nows.
Huh?
Yeah.
But God says go to the world and multiply.
I think we've already at 7.8 billion people. I think we already completed. That's like the only thing God ever said to do that we actually did. We've got plenty of
Very true.
spread and multiply happening. Yeah.
We even have this conversation with Rosie. Rosie, as you know, she's 22, right? And I'm 31. So I'm more like 10 years older than you, almost, no?
Yeah,
Almost 10 years older than her. And, as you know, I've mentioned that I don't really want to have a kid, but maybe there's always an exception. Maybe my Mr. Right now,
Yeah.
my Mr. Right now will want a baby from me, okay?
Right.
Nobody else. I feel like for now, but maybe I'm still open about it. But
Uh-huh.
maybe if they ask me about it, I don't want to. But nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. So I asked, what's your answer again, Rosie? You don't?
no,
Huh?
I don't want to have baby.
She said she don't want to have a baby, and I told her, Rosie, it will change one day.
One day,
Because maybe Mr.
Who
Right
knows?
now. I like that. I'm gonna use it. Next time I will go out. I will go out there and I'll tell them, "Hey, are you my Mr. Right now?" Like it. I like that line. I like the word. I will use that, Mr. Right
not
now.
Mr. Right,
Hmm.
Oh,
Mr. Right.
Well,
Mr. Right now. Yeah.
let me ask the two of you, and you guys can
Okay.
comment on this. I've been trying to I've been trying to pass on the information, on my channel, that not all Filipinas want a baby. And there are
Yeah.
Filipinas who have already reached 28, 29, 30. They're not making any babies and they don't plan on it. But
Me,
guys,
31.
I have guys that just don't believe me because they've never been to the Philippines, and they say, "No, I heard that they all want babies, 100%. If they don't want it now, they want it later." So can you guys comment on your own reasons for putting off and deciding that you just don't want to have kids?
Yeah. Can you say that again first, Rosie?
No, I don't want to have kids.
Why? Why?
Why? No, I can't see myself having my own baby.
Yeah, see, that's her views about having baby. But
Yeah.
mine, as you know, Ricky, I reached the age of, I'm almost out of calendar. Out 31. My God, can you imagine me being? I think we met you when I'm in my 20s, right?
Hmm.
20s. Yeah, and still now, you see, it's a huge proof, evidence that not all Filipina really want to have a kid. Because as
Yeah.
you know, my sister, my twin sister, she's married, but she don't have baby at the moment because they would like to have a baby when time comes at the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But she's
Right.
open about. But me, I have no one to have a baby with. I'm joking. I'm just
Uh,
joking, but I cannot see. Same views with Rosie.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as a mother.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's a huge responsibility. And at my age, still at my age, I'm not ready for that responsibility.
hmm Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
It-
Well, yeah, I again, you're not the only one. I've met other Filipinas said the same thing, that and they elaborated when I asked them, well, what's your reason why? They said, well, I realized that I could have more options in life, whether it's for travel or pursuing a career or education. They realize they got more options if they're not also a single mom. So that was their reason. And that's several that I met in Cebu and over in Dumaguete, who,
Mm.
yeah, they just know they're just not going to have babies.
Yeah, I think that's if you're really into traveling and if you have a kid, I understand that you can bring a kid also, but it's really different because you'll be more worried about your kid. You cannot really do what you want all by like, with your partner or with your friends because you have something to be worried of.
Yeah, yeah, and in my case, people have asked, with my girlfriend V, aren't you worried that she's going to want babies and she's only like 23 and she might change her mind and all that? Well, her and I have obviously talked about it a lot, over the whole COVID year that we were in the same room, just had a lot to talk about, and that was a conversation we had plenty of times. And and her position has been that even before she met me, she looked at one of her sisters who rushed into marriage, rushed into having a baby, And now that sister of hers is realizing now, wow, life is harder when you got to support and make money for a baby, you know? And so even before we met, my girlfriend V looked at her sister, her older sister, and really took that in and said, wow, I do not want to rush into marriage and I don't want to rush into babies. Look at what, the whatever you want to call it, the regret or the pain, the responsibility that her sister is having. So in our case, she was already leaning that direction before we met, and I told her, if we're going to have a future together, don't expect babies from me. I said, I'm not going to make any babies. I'm not going to adopt any babies. I don't want babies around for more than 2 hours. Babies does not fit into my. So I told her, if you even think that you can change my mind, it's not going to happen. And if you even think you want a baby, well, then you need to find some other guy, you know? And I've told her, if you 2 years from now, whatever, you change your mind and you want a baby, you're going to have to go, same thing. You're going to have to go find someone else for that baby, because babies are not part of my future. I've got a lot of things I want to do, and I've already raised some. So, it's a conversation that we've been brutally honest with, and we had to, because again, this is one of those parts of life that you have to be in agreement, because there is no compromise between having a baby and not having a baby. It's not like you can have half a baby or rent one. you know you either have a baby or you don't. Again, I feel very confident with her reasons for saying that she would rather have a life, the two of us together, um, and forego not having a baby. Uh, and she even looks at it when because I kept asking her, well, how can you accept the idea of never having a baby? And she had a very interesting response. She said, if I met another foreigner before you, she goes, if I met a foreigner and I fell in love with him, but he had, say, a handicap. He was missing an arm, he was missing a leg, maybe he had bad health. She goes, I would love him and accept the handicap that he has, you know? And she goes, in your case, your handicap is you're never going to make a baby. And she goes, I love you even though you're not the kind of man that wants a baby or will make a baby. So she has put a lot of thought into this. And I think that's the kind of conversation two people have to have. What about kids? What about whether we're going to live in the Philippines, live in his home country? Because those are big decisions, you know. That's why you spend a year getting to know each other before you even think about marriage.
True. You don't really know the person if you don't live with them. You better, at least that's my idea. You need to, if you really want to have a relationship with someone, you really need to spend time living with them for, I'll give maybe, what do you think, how many months? My idea would live with them for 6 months.
Yeah, at least 6 months, because from what I've seen and from what I've watched and heard from other foreigners and my own experience, is when you live with somebody, 80% of the time, it all falls apart before 3 months. That's when you
Very
find out. Yeah, that's when you find out they're crazy, they're unfaithful, they're greedy for money. Whatever the problem is, they
true.
can't hide it for more than 2, 3 months.
Yeah. Maybe they can hide it for 2 to 3 months, not 6 months.
Yeah, now by 6 months, yeah.
You know, Ricky, in my coffee shop before, I think you know that I'm surrounded with a lot of foreigners, right? Because
Mhm.
most of my customers are those foreigners that lives in Dumaguete
Yeah.
already, and I have newcomers as well. So I heard all the stories about them dating Filipina. Because of course they come to me because I'm a Filipina, and they tell me, why, Lori, why this, why that? I give all
Yeah.
my life. that. There's so many things you cannot imagine that happens to them. And they're not just older guys. Some of them are younger guys that also become, I might say, I don't really know which side I pick, but most of the time they all say they become the victim, the victim of of my co-Filipina or co-Filipina. It
Uh,
depends, really. It really depends. But there's so many stories about that. There's so
mhm.
many, Ricky. So one thing I always tell my friends is I always told them, get to know these girls, spend time, live with them for 6 months, then you know. Then don't tell me now I'm so madly in love with this girl. I'm gonna marry her. It's impossible. I told them that.
Yeah,
It's impossible. You know the girl for just a month and you'll say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna marry this girl." I tell them most of the time. I told them, "Okay, come back in 3 months." You
yeah,
say that, come back in 3 months, and here it comes, Ricky. The next week, they already broke up.
yeah,
I
yeah.
become the grandma, Ricky. You know that. I'm more like the grandma. I'm the grandma. They're grandma. They're giving advices to them. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's part of the reason why I become so mature. You think I'm mature, right?
Yeah, mature but fun.
Yeah, mature enough at my age. Because from my experience, it really gives me more, more knowledge about what is life. What is
Mhm.
life?
Yeah.
What is But at least, I got to look at me now. I'm still also doing the same thing. I'm also finding the Mister right now.
Yeah, well, hopefully you find the Mr. Right eventually, but it's a
I'm gonna
process.
meet the Mister
It
right
takes
now.
time. Yeah, it's a process. Takes time, you know. And
Takes time.
now one thing I would add is that um, when it comes to, yes, it's true, you learn, you really get to know someone when you live with them. But at the same time, I would really caution people, um, like it's okay to just date for 3, 4, 5 months and not live together. That's okay, because to me, and I think to most people, when you decide to live together, that in itself is such a big step that it's almost like halfway to marriage. So
Oh,
I think you should not live with every girl you meet. Just because you get along for 2 weeks, that doesn't mean move in together, because
yeah. You're right.
they're still a
Yes.
stranger, you know?
Yes.
You don't know if they're a thief. You don't know if they're selling shabu. You don't know what they're up to, you know?
Mm.
Now, in my life, I've only had someone live with me 3 times, and that's my current girlfriend, V, and then 2 other Filipinas. And the only reason that I asked them to move in with me was because I saw enough in them that I thought I might want to marry this person, but I need to live with them to really see if this is going to work. So, I'm not into this idea of, oh, you meet a girl in town and 2 weeks later you have her move in. It's just, it's playing Russian roulette, and then it's a very painful to then you realize it's not going to work out. Maybe she's crazy, maybe she's cheater, whatever, but it's just not going to work out. Now you got to get her out of your apartment, and that's where a lot of drama comes in, and it's like,
True.
so I do believe you need to live with someone to know them, but you got to be like, it should happen like 2, 3 times in your life. It's not
Yes.
something you do with every single girl that
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
some
Of
time
course,
with.
you got to feel it. You got to feel it. If this really worth to take the risk, and
Yeah,
living with someone is a risk.
it is. It is, especially when all of a sudden she says, "Oh, I'm pregnant." Well,
My
now,
God,
now the whole
yeah,
game changes. You know,
I know. Okay. I've heard so many stories about it. Like, some of the guys think they're taking some pills, or, they cannot
right?
be pregnant. But later on, they use it as a weapon
Yeah,
to attach to you guys. You're gonna
yeah,
say, well, I'm pregnant. So I understand that. Yeah, I totally understand. Most of the time, if you really hear stories about it, you kind of like, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, your views, Ricky, I think I totally agree with your views. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I mean, some things just make sense in life. It's like, there's a right way to drive, there's a right way to whatever, go grocery shopping, whatever. And then there's a wrong way, and some things in life, they're not that hard to figure out. It's just controlling yourself to do the right decision. Most guys, I'll tell you this, most guys will ask a girl quickly to move in with him just for the convenience, you know,
Mm.
and they don't really think, well, am I that serious about this girl? All they're thinking about, I can, because I do consult with foreigners all the time, and I can't tell you how many times, like there was this one guy over in what does he call it, Manila, and I must have done 6, 7, 8 different 1 hour consultations with him because he met a girl at a bar and like within 2, 3 weeks, he proposed to her. He said, well, tell you what, I'll pay you $700 a month to live with me, basically be my girlfriend. But this is where he again got greedy. He said, but when you move in with me and I pay you this money every month, you're going to be like my girlfriend, intimately. But he said, every once in a while, I want to be with other girls too. So, of course, she said yes, moved in. She's making good money. But as soon as he started, going out with other girls, lots of drama. So then he contacts me and he's like, "Well, how do I fix this? How do I handle this?" So we had to go through this. So the bottom line being, moving someone in with you just like every girl you meet is pretty reckless, and it's going to end in drama, no doubt about it. So it's something you should do very wisely and not a lot.
Choose wisely. Yeah, they better choose wisely and think before they click.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's really. But sometimes also, Ricky, some friends of mine told me, sometimes, Lori, we need to take that rest to have some lesson to learn. That's what they
yeah,
told me. How are we going to know if we don't try?
yeah.
So, and then yeah, it's up really to them how they're going to do that. But to those who just want to know what's going on, yeah, it's really what you just mentioned. That's what's going on, and there's worse than that, Ricky, right?
Oh yeah, it
A
can
lot
get
of
so much
that,
worse. Yeah,
a lot. So sometimes, Ricky, honestly speaking, I know it might sound a little bit not really good, but sometimes no man, no cry.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
How about
what is it? There's a T-shirt the other way. It's like no girlfriend, no problem, and they have the no boyfriend, no problem. you know? Yeah.
one is like I copied the song of Bob Marley. Bob said Bob Marley in his song, right? It's no woman, no cry. My ours, mine will be no man, no cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better find a Mister right now and no Mister tomorrow.
And that leads into another thing is, uh, you know, at least in America, if a man is single, his married friends look at him like he's got a problem he needs to fix. You need to get find a girlfriend. You need to get married. You need to, and here's the thing. Some guys just want to be single the rest of their life, you know,
Yes.
and and a guy should look inside himself and go, well, maybe I don't want to be married. Maybe I never want to, and that's okay. Um, but he should know, and there's pros and cons. It's not like marriage good, single bad. That's not the way it is. Being single has a lot of advantages. Being married has a lot of advantages. It's just, which one do you prefer? Really, it's not choosing between good and bad. It's just, there's certain benefits. Like when you're single, you go where you want, when you want, you do what you want, you sleep in or you stay up late, you do what you want. When you're married, Well, you have kind of a schedule. You go sleep at the same time, eat at the same time, even if you're not hungry. There's certain, things you just do when you're with somebody. And so again, it's a preference. It's not like choosing between good and bad. A person who is single shouldn't feel the pressure to get married when they're not ready to get married. Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes a lot of thinking. You know, it's
I I
easy
kind
to
of
do.
Yeah, I kind of laugh when, I mean, I laugh inside. I mean, I don't want to hurt the person's feelings. But, when I hear like a Filipina and she'll say, oh, my boyfriend left me for other girl. I'm so broken. That's when I start laughing inside because she doesn't realize it. But if her boyfriend left her for another woman, she just got rid of a bad guy. She got rid of a man that doesn't love her. Her life just improved. Her life's
But
not
Ricky,
broken.
Ricky. I'm joking.
Well, it's
Sometimes,
it's it's
yeah.
human. It's human to feel heartbroken, the feelings, but in reality, like I said, her life just got better because now she's not stuck with a guy who's out cheating on her. Now she's free again, ready to be
Yes.
single and mingle and find a better guy. You know.
Yeah, I hope that's easy. It's easy to, just to jump into another guy. I think you also know that once you become attached with someone, it takes time to really to move on and
Yeah,
to see that there's still tomorrow out there. There's still silver lining out there. You're
yeah,
still there.
yeah.
It's
Because
sometimes
because on our
mm,
part or your part, whoever the woman involved, yeah, she's going to have a lot of sad feelings, but eventually she has to see that her situation is now better. And then and during that transition, it's probably not a good idea that she gets involved with anybody. She needs to recenter and be the person she was before she met this idiot. You know?
yes, that's very true. Yeah, they gotta be loving first themselves, before how can someone be attractive to them again if they're not even knows how to take care of themselves, to love themselves, right,
Yeah,
Ricky?
yeah, yeah.
And
You know, and it's a process, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've had times in my life where I just didn't date because I really needed to get my head together. My
mm,
heart was broken and my head's all messed up. It was not a good time to be meeting somebody and trying to contribute something positive to them when I'm just an emotional mess. So that's okay. It's just you got to heal up, got to emotionally heal up, and then you get back on your feet and you go out and you do it again, and hopefully pick a better person.
you said, Ricky, right? Time heals every broken ones. Everyone's time heals. So
Yeah,
when time comes, it will, they'll know why. They'll
mm,
know why. Why
yeah,
is why.
yeah,
And the answer is x plus y.
yeah,
Why? Why? The answer is x plus y. You got to understand the whole idea of why it happens. Because
mm,
everything's happen. I'll say the word everything happens for a good reason. I'll take it in a positive way. Not
yeah.
everything happens for a good reason.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, you just got to move forward, from where you're
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
That's all
Hmm?
needs go change.
Yeah, I'll share with you something I've done, and maybe it'll be of some help to your viewers. Um, I've had some pretty painful breakups in the past that
Mm.
were, it just wasn't going to work out, and like I'm thinking of one in particular, and I really cared for her a lot, but she was this one particular was doing things that are not acceptable. So, we broke up, and this is where people kind of like repeat the same mistake. Is 2 weeks later, they're feeling lonely, and the other person is contacting them that they broke up with, and hey, let's get back together. So what I did was, after the breakup, I took out a pen and paper and I wrote down the reasons why we broke up, you know. And in this particular case, it was, they were I won't say they were cheating, but they were letting other people influence our relationship. And when I asked her to stop, she just hid it, purposely, like with blocking on Facebook and all that, continued, to be letting these people, these men, interfere with our relationship. So I wrote down like the three reasons why we broke up, so that later, when even I would be home alone and I would be thinking of only the good times, and I would be thinking maybe I should give her another chance, whatever. I would look at that sheet of paper and I would look at the screenshots I had saved and all the evidence of what she was doing wrong. And I go, okay, now I remember why I broke up with her. Because it's so easy to emotionally, you get back with the person, the problem is still there, you break up a second time. And then some people repeat this and break up with the same person 4 or 5 times before they finally figure it out, you know? So writing down why you broke up and looking at it later can help you, hopefully, to not repeat the same mistake.
Very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will help, if you not to all the people, but to some. For some people, they write it down, but then they I didn't get an F. I'm gonna try this. I don't
Yeah.
give an F.
Yeah, any lesson's only as good as well you practice it, You have to put it in practice,
Yeah, but practice. They say right that nobody's perfect. No practice.
Practice makes perfect.
But there's also said like they also said like practice. I forgot the words now, but it's more likely like you practice, but then practice makes perfect. But I lost my words, Ricky. But it's more I have about to say it, but I forgot. So I'll just go with what you said. I supposed to
Well,
contradict that, but then it's okay.
well,
I forgot my
well,
best weapon.
some people learn from their mistakes, some people don't. That's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yes. That's it. That's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nice talking to you, Ricky. Thank you very much for your
yeah,
time.
yeah. Glad to see you again, and that you guys are both doing good there in Moal Boal. And
Having good.
yeah, yeah, it's nice to hear from you.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy also to see you being with your mom now, and
Yeah.
you look very happy there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really glad that her health has improved a lot since I got back. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for having me on, and I'll just say to everybody, subscribe to your channel, and
Yes,
I know you got bigger plans on getting better and better every single show. So looking forward to it. I'll be checking in on you guys.
yes. Thank you, Ricky. Bye bye.
Bye bye.